When Canadian diplomat Richard Colvin first testified about detainee abuse and torture in Afghanistan, the Harper government couldn't fall over itself fast enough to discredit this highly credible witness. The Conservatives were like the flying Wallendas of the political circus, a family trapeze act soaring to new heights of gall as they bent over backwards to deny that any of this was possible. The Conservatives trade cynically on the knowledge that Canadians are likely to believe our armed forces only go out into the world for the good, as if it was their choice where to go. Or we believe things like the debacle in Somalia could never happen again. Harper would prefer us to be a nation of ostriches, heads in sand and long necks that are easily cut off. Peter MacKay's defense is to say, shame on you for disparaging the reputation of the good men and women of the Canadian Armed Forces. As if the only defense for everything is to say, you're just a hater. It's instructive to see how MacKay pulls directly from the Bush-era Republican playbook to deflect all criticism, as if a critical assessment of anything is tantamount to sedition. I think that's known in legal circles as the "a few good men" defense, where Peter MacKay, channeling Jack Nicholson, is basically telling us that we can't handle the truth. He tries to convince us that there's nothing wrong with the broken thing in front of us, and some commentators have called the situation Kafkaesque. I think it's more Monty Python. What, that parrot? It's not dead. It's just sleeping. The combination of ignorance and contempt is astounding, and it seems to be catching like it's this year's version of the swine flu. The latest person to come down with it is Lieutenant Colonel Gilles Sansterre, who heads the apparently misnomered Canadian Forces National Investigation Service, created after Somalia, that's supposed to look into these kinds of accusations. I mean, this is a guy who really should be up on the literature. But, by his own admission, never read the various human rights reports on Afghanistan written by the American State Department, the UN, or the Afghan Human Rights Commission. He never read the ruling by the Federal Court of Canada that accepted the torture concerns of those agencies. And when reports came out of the abuse of Afghans handed over by Canadians, the misnomered agency did write a 3-page report, but apparently didn't interview anyone and didn't collect evidence. Which makes me wonder how the report made it to 3 pages. Unless it was like the reports I wrote in grade 8 when faced with a word count. I really like this book. It's very good. The Afghan detainee issue is extremely positively and particularly most excellent. The end. Canadians should demand more from their political representatives. Constructive criticism doesn't make anybody a traitor. I hope we all remember that the next time we vote. For rabble.ca, I'm Lalo Espejo.
But most importantly, he's not Rex Murphy.